Every month passes. It's getting to be the end of the first quarter. March is almost in the can, and the news just keeps piling up. What a day yesterday. President Trump, another promise kept, imposed a 25% tax on automobiles, SUVs, light trucks, imported into this country from wherever they are manufactured. And that is a change of the new world order. Yes, one global government, one global economy, one global currency took a big hit delivered by the magic hammer of President Donald Tariffs Are Beautiful Trump. 25%. Now, a lot of those vehicles coming in are high-end, Mercedes, BMWs, high-end stuff. And if somebody's got the oomph, let's say, to buy a Jaguar, if it costs them $100,000 or $125,000, if that's what they want, that's what they're going to get. But you take like a Toyota. Toyota has a big, giant manufacturing footprint here in the United States. They're building 1.2 million vehicles, Toyotas, here in the good old US of A. But they have sales of 2.4 million, which means Toyota imports from the mother country or maybe from Mexico. It's a globalized company, wherever they're bringing those vehicles in from. 1.2 million are going to get this 25% tax. So when you get into the more mid-range or value-priced vehicles, now President Trump is setting up the scenario where domestic manufacturing will be expanded and supported. And I noted yesterday that the United Auto Workers, who have suffered through 30 years of globalization, 30 years of their jobs being exported, 30 years of their wages being compressed, were quite happy about it. Yes, they were. Now, we got a lot of people that are crying in their bowls because their dog bowls are getting emptied out with this program. But the workers, the middle-class workers who go to work in the morning and work all day and support families and pay taxes and belong to the Lions Club and do everything that they can do to live a life of dignity and worth, those folks have a champion in President Donald J. Trump. And that is a big change. This is a change of industrial policy in this country, a change of a globalized idea that goes back to, well, I'm sorry to say this, kids, but President Reagan was really the president that cemented the globalization idea. President Reagan loved free trade. You can go find him talking about it on YouTube. I am not making it up. In fact, we've played clips on this very radio show coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the studios of Free People Radio, right here in the belly of the beast. We've played the clips where Saint Reagan extolled the virtues of free trade, and maybe in his day it was a virtuous idea. But what started as a trickle turned into a cascade, which has cost this country dearly. What else is going on in the world today? Well, let's listen to John Fredericks wrap it down so we can get a good, well-rounded dose of the recent news.
So a very contentious press conference today with Caroline Leavitt. You got peppered with questions again about what went on with the signal thing. Why do they have it? Who had it? How did Jeffrey Goldberg get in Mike Walz's phone? So basically, the front row fake news media was all over this. In fact, at one point, she had to cut off Caitlin Collins of CNN. Went back and forth there. She was trying to ask like her fifth question. And finally, Caroline Leavitt called on someone else and said, I had enough, right? No more questions. I've already talked to someone else. Caitlin, you're done. But basically, what she was saying is, look, Walsh took responsibility, and they say director took responsibility for it. He said he didn't know how Jonah Goldberg got in his phone. You know, sometimes these people get in because you talk to them sometimes and you forget about it. But this thing just doesn't seem to be going away. Also, she said that no classified information was released. So that whole thing is a fake. She then went on to blast the Atlantic magazine, blast Goldberg, said that the guy's a liar. He plays fast and loose with the truth. He was the guy that she said was propagating the Russian hoax from the beginning. And he said he's a Democrat, his wife is a Democrat. And she said that no one loves pushing stories more than the Goldberg. So that was one of the big issues here. She also said that he invented a number of hoaxes over time. It's a little windy here, so hang in there. He invented a number of hoaxes over time, and you go on and on and on. She also said about how successful the Houthi raids were, that several Houthi leaders were taken out, that for the first time in a long time, our shipping lanes have been secured. And she said, what we're focused on is some signal chat, and we're not focused on the success that this particular operation had. Also, to make note, Virginia Senator Mark Warner, who has been apoplectic over the signal thing, now we find out that, of course, Mark Warner has a signal device on his phone, and we find out that that is how he communicated with Michael Steele for the fake Russian dossier. What goes around comes around.
Well, I have to be very frank with you and thank you for joining. We're a political action community. If you come over to the Professor Penn podcast tonight on YouTube or Rumble, you're going to find thousands and thousands of people that have gathered together in political activism. And I know many of the people, and I appreciate the people that participate because we're on a mission to back President Trump's efforts to restore republicanism and maintain this as a republic, a place where each individual citizen is a sovereign. And I love the news. That's why I do this. And I get up every morning and I take a look at everything. I look at many, many news sources. I do the same thing at night. But I want to be just very frank about this. I haven't been able to look at the news for 2 days because it's dominated by this ridiculous story about a mistake that cost no lives, and watching the Democrats grasp at this straw while they sink beneath the ocean, watching them grasp at a mistake, it's just boring. It's just not engaging news. And here's John talking about it for most of his news report from yesterday. And I mean, you're watching it, I'm watching it. What are we watching? We're watching an information war, something that's not really relevant. What's relevant is President Trump restoring an American first economic policy, which is brand new for a lot of young people. Now, when I started in the tire business, all the tires were made here in the United States. There were no imports. That was in the late 70s. So look where we've gone from everything being made here in the tire business to just 25% of the tires that you can buy on tireget.com actually built here in the United States of America. What a tragedy that President Trump is trying to address.